Welcome to Let's Talk Station. I'm your man, Rod Love. Sitting next to me is none other than the General.
Once again, it's on, Brother Love, man. You know how we get this thing started every week, man. How's this week for this past week?
Man, the weekend was good, man. Just enjoying. Hey, Doc, you might want to slide that to the middle, man. I hate to see you chopping Greg's head off tonight. But yeah, man, weekend was good. But you know, it was a peaceful, restful weekend, man. How about yours?
I'm trying to think. I don't know what I did this weekend.
It was that you did that much?
Or that little. I'm trying to think what I did this weekend.
Man, hey, if he doesn't know, Doc, I don't know what was Mr. Jackson up to.
Let me think on that, man. Now listen, man, these weekends, man, they come so fast and they're here and they're gone.
They fly by.
Yeah. So I can't even think what I did. That's a great question.
I know what I was trying to stay cool.
What'd you say, Doc?
I say I was trying to stay cool.
Oh yeah, Doc AC, he getting a new one put in. So
they put the overnight commission on it.
Man, listen.
You know something we didn't talk about last week? We didn't talk about, and I don't know if this is the first time that it was here, but you familiar with Rolling Loud?
I've heard of it. I don't know a lot about it. What is it? It's like some music event, isn't it?
Yeah, Mondo, go ahead and give us an update on the Rolling Loud deal.
Yeah, so it's a hip hop event. Whole bunch of hip hop artists come down into the city and they do it for 3 days. Whole bunch of music, good vibes.
So who's supposed to be coming through?
So it was NBA.
Oh, it's already taking place.
NBA Youngboy was who was supposed to be, but he canceled out. Playboy Cardi, all the new hip hop artists. Soulja
all the
Boy
mumble
was
rappers.
There. Soulja Boy was there.
All the mumble rappers.
Lifestyle.
Lifestyle. What's wrong with Doc?
I don't know. Hey, but one of
Sound like Charlie Brown teacher.
One of the things we didn't talk about that took place 2 weeks ago. And Doc just apprised me that it took place again. Kodak Black got arrested in Orange County a couple of weeks ago. And then, Doc, you say he just recently got rearrested again?
Yeah.
In another county.
I mean, listen, and for folks who may have forgotten, Kodak Black, along with Lil Wayne, along with Kwame Kilpatrick, along with a couple of other prominent Black entertainers or political figures who found themselves on the wrong side of the law, were pardoned during Trump's first administration. And so it's interesting that Kodak Black was given a new lease on life, and he squandered it that way.
But the conversation that we were having is, and Greg, we're not making excuses, but
stupid is a stupid does.
In this circle, could he do well by some of these older rappers who went through some of the? I mean, because he's enjoyed. When I say success, I'm talking about maybe success from the perspective of achieving some financial wealth that the regular population would never achieve, and doesn't know how to get his arms around it, don't know how to manage this, handle this, and apparently it appears that he has possibly an addictions issue.
Possibly, he does have an addiction. What do you mean? He might have. He does have.
Hey, Mondo, I sit next
he
to
might have.
a legal genius who always say, "Brother Love." Start off with the word allegedly, or
no. That's documented. But the thing of it is, I mean, so we talk about these newer hip hop artists or these newer rappers, or whatever you want to call them. I mean, who can they look to?
Yeah,
they don't really have anybody that they can look to, and the ones that they can look to, so for instance, the ones that I think about just right off the bat who have been successful, you have your Jay-Z, you have your 50 Cent, to some extent you have your Will Smiths, you have your Ice Cubes, you have your Dr. Dre's.
In that category,
he's been successful. Listen,
he's been successful.
Will Smith was making $20 million a movie.
Hey, Doc. Now here's where I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna push back on my good friend in general. Will Smith has never been recognized as what you call it, Mondo? One of them, I don't know, in the trenches rapper.
Nobody said he has to be in the trenches. I said successful.
Oh, okay.
I ain't saying that. I said successful.
Yeah,
but
would you? Why? I was wondering why Will Smith got bitchy.
So you tell me.
I'm saying he's a model dude.
Yeah, but tell me this. Tell me this. Tell me what other hip hop artist has made away from himself in film, in
I don't
music to
disagree.
where he make 20 mil, if not more,
Far as
$20 million a
success-
film.
Far as success, I'm not. But when I say a Kodak is in the category to me as a 50 Cent, as a Jay-Z. These are cats. I mean, Will Smith.
Now, let me start with that now. Will Smith did come from Philadelphia.
Oh,
from West Philadelphia.
So
now.
I know
let's don't get it twisted.
Oh no, nah, he really believe in that
did
rap.
slap the fire out of. He did. Now, listen, you don't walk up on somebody like that if you ain't have some background. Now, don't get Will Smith twisted.
Hey,
now.
Mondo, come on, man, you closer to this than any of us. Will Smith has never walked around talking about gangster.
I didn't say gangster. I just say he ain't nobody to be played with. Will Smith still 6'2". Yes, Will Smith still 6'2", 210, 215 pounds.
Hey, slapped the fire out of this shorty.
Out of
this shorty.
Will ain't never been soft now.
You walk up on Chris Rock and slap him.
Will ain't never been soft.
But you know what? I'm not gonna walk up on.
No, he ain't never been soft now. Regardless of what the people say, Will Smith ain't never been soft.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, Chris Rock.
He just is a kind of. He came out of middle class, so you ain't got that street thing. But he got that Philly. Hey, what they call it? That Philly
came out of the middle class. Come on, man. There's no. I mean, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I never looked at Will Smith as in the category. I mean, he's successful beyond even any imagination. But come on, man. We were talking about a category of a Kodak, 50 Cent.
So you say that then. So you have to say the same thing about LL Cool J then. But I bet you won't walk up on LL Cool J.
Black is not up
You
there
keep
with
talking
those
about
guys.
walking up on somebody. Hey,
Listen, you talking about he ain't bad, he ain't bad. Okay, yeah.
Do you know?
I can't believe we having a rap conversation.
Broke in his house.
But
They took care of business. Took care of business.
Rod, let me correct you. Kodak Black is not in the same genre with Jay-Z and Lil Wayne and all of them. It's just there's no equal. He don't have the body of work, and he don't have the following. And he don't have the money.
I guess this is a night Rod Love gonna be fighting back with his friends because when you say not in the same genre, I'm not saying that he reached the pinnacle of the mountain, but Jay-Z, Kodak, who else? Doc said they're in the same genre of that rap. That
No, not even the same.
No.
Okay,
See, hey, listen. So I can tell real hip hop heads when they say that Kodak Black and Will Smith are in the same caliber in terms of rap. You just named them in the same sentence.
No, I didn't name Will Smith. You named Will.
I'm sorry. I mean Jay-Z and Kodak Black in the same sentence.
What?
All right, so tell me this. Tell me the distinction about Jay-Z as an artist that's the same as Lil Wayne and Biggie.
These cats are rapping. They rapping about street life. They rap about street life. I mean, Mondo, because I don't necessarily listen to them. So y'all tell me.
We got to rough them up.
Listen, it's only a few rappers that you can put in the same sentence. I ain't gonna listen. So a few rappers you can put in the same sentence as a Jay-Z, even a Lil Wayne, a Biggie, a Nas, a Tupac. None of these young guys, in my perspective, will ever be in that. So the distinction of Jay-Z, Biggie, and Lil Wayne, they never write their lyrics. Virtually everything you hear, no. Everything you hear them do, they walk into the booth and they spit it.
Oh, so you come okay.
Those are lyrical geniuses.
The only one.
Now we're still talking about genre of music. What?
It's not. It's okay. We'll explain it this way. Just think of it as having very distinct subgenres.
Mm-hmm.
You could say rap, but it's different.
So I understand the difference when you talk about a T.I. He does what they call it trap.
But T.I. has evolved too. But yeah, T.I. would now honestly, T.I. is closer to a Kodak Black.
Okay,
so T.I. would be closer to a Kodak Black. So I mean, from region,
okay,
because he's a Southern rapper.
Hold up, you
closer.
Did you hear Mondo? Go ahead, Mondo. This your area. Go ahead, talk to him.
I mean, I understand where he's coming from with it, but I would put T.I. in that conversation with
Jay-Z,
Lil Wayne, and all them because because of how far he came, and so much.
He's madly successful.
Huge,
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
He lays down some nice lyrics.
Yeah.
I am not a T.I. hater.
Yeah.
I like T.I.
Yeah.
I like it.
Did you hear?
Well, shoot, we talking about T.I. We might as well throw plies in there.
He was sitting back saying, "Wow."
But
Wow.
no, but I'm saying in terms of relatability.
Yeah.
If
but
somebody could pick up the phone and call a Kodak Black, if somebody could pick up a phone and call a
Yeah.
NBO boy, excuse me, it'll be somebody like a T.I. could do it
Mhm.
because they can relate, and they could be like, this dude came
Yeah.
out of the mud for real. Lil Boosie could do it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Bun B could do it.
And it's funny that you mentioned Lil Boosie because Lil Boosie actually tried to reach out to him.
Yeah.
And when he tried to reach out to him, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
You know,
Did it create a beef or
it
something?
created a problem.
Yeah, and it makes
Yeah,
sense
yeah,
because
wow.
listen, Boosie is
But tell you
about
what,
that
let's
life
do
too.
this.
Now,
Let's do this. Let's take a quick pause. Can you let them folks know? Because we jumped into this. I don't know how we got there. Can you let them folks know?
Because
listen,
we
man, y'all
had to
tuned
break
in to
out
True the Most
hip-hop.
Simple with your boys in Central Florida on the Monday Night Podcast. Brother Love, Greg Jackson, and we got our own. What we call this dude, man? We got to give him another name. But we got Doc Polite. We got Doc Polite with us. He's sitting in. We got Brother
He called
Armando.
me
We make up
agitator.
Let's Talk Nation. So if you want to be a part of the night show, all you got to do is say, hey, what the number? Somebody tell me that. Oh, all you got to do is hit 407-921-6195. Again, that's 407-921-6195 to talk to two of the most simple winter voices in Central Florida on Monday Night Podcast and Doc Polite and even Brother Armando, because he's been talking a whole lot lately. But he might even jump in on the conversation. So, Brother Love, let's get it on.
All right.
Let's get it on.
Hey, man, but you know what? That was an interesting conversation, man.
Yeah.
And you know, I like that iron sharper iron, even though, you know, again, I kind of beg to differ, but I'm a surrender because I don't listen. You know, I ain't deep into that, so I surrender.
All right, man. Listen, man. I follow the culture, man.
You know, and
I
But
follow
I
the
think I
culture.
understand what you were saying.
Yeah, okay.
I think you were saying that Kodak should be inspired by people like Jay-Z or stuff like that. That's where you were
exactly,
going in the beginning.
exactly.
But they don't come from the same. They're not from the same.
I get it. I get
and that's why I say somebody closer to that, a
Right.
T.I. could talk to him.
Right. Yeah.
If he was receptive.
Right.
Yeah.
A Lil Boosie could
That's
talk to
the
him if he's receptive. You know, even like Lil Webby could talk to him if he's receptive.
That's the
And you know
You
what?
know?
Real interesting. And those are rappers that we're talking about. But you know, somebody who wasn't a rapper, but they had the same. I don't know if you call it the groupie following,
Mhm.
but now they talk about how, boy, if they knew then what they knew what they know now. You know who that is?
Mm-mm.
Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you see a speech?
Yeah.
No,
Did you see a speech where he talked about he thanked all the people that screwed him over?
that screwed him over.
Yeah. He did a speech.
Nah, I
And-
didn't see that. I
and-
did.
listen. Listen, Allen Iverson was smart about one thing: how he deferred whatever that money was that he deferred.
Yeah.
His wife, his ex-wife at that.
His ex-wife.
His
You're right.
ex-wife at that. That whoever she looked out for him way into the future.
You're right. Yeah,
Because I mean, right now he's not hurting right now.
Hey, you know what? And I hate to shift gears, but Brother Jackson, Doc, Armando, you know, I like
32.
riding around
32 million.
32 million.
Yeah.
You know, but I like riding around in, you know, my little pickup truck. You know, I like because it can scat. It's my hoopty.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, that hoopty is costing me like $70 to fill up now when it used to cost me $35.
So, Brother Love, I know you're going. That's called the segue, Brother Love. That's called the segue. So, you know, man, these gaps. Now, I will say one highlight is I was driving by a gas station last night, and as opposed to $4.39 or $4.49, I saw $4.14.
Oh, you was happy.
So I did see it's still in the $4 range, but I did see a slight drop in gas prices. But you know, listen, I mean, Doc, I mean, how much more do we think that Americans are going to stand with gas prices? What's taking place the way that it's going right now, man?
Man, listen. All I know is I went to the pump and it was $65 to fill up. And I know that many people, just imagine now, I'm home all week. I don't drive a lot. So I can imagine people who have major commutes and the weekly cost of gas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're talking about probably triple now what they were paying. And that's got to be digging into their budget.
But it's digging in across the board. Everything that, I mean, energy, when we talk about filling up our tanks, when we talk about going to the grocery store, it's touching every aspect. And General, I'm going to kind of touch on something that you just asked the question of.
Yeah.
How much more can we take of
Yeah.
this? Well, I'm going to equate this to this research that took place with rats in the 1950s.
Okay.
And the researcher put this rat in water to see how long this rat can, and you can go look it up, see how long this rat could tread water
Mm-hmm.
before it drowned.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 90 seconds.
Okay.
Then they did it again with another rat, and this time, rather than letting the rat drown at around 90, 95 seconds, they grabbed the rat, picked him up, they dried him off, and they put him back in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that they continue to do that,
The longer he would last.
the longer he would last.
Mhm.
But then
Yeah.
something incredible happened. The rat started treading water for hours.
Mhm.
And you know, this research basically talked about conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
You just said something about you went to the pump and it was 414.
And I was happy with it. I was happy with 414. Oh man, they cutting us a break. Yeah.
We're not rats, but do you see where that
They lifted
condition-
us up just a little bit.
Yeah.
So where that 414 ain't so bad. So they go dump me right back in there.
So go ahead, go my
So Trump this morning, he had said, I'm getting tired of negotiating with Iran. So I had said to myself, I say, well, Trump, I'm getting tired of paying $5 per gasoline.
What? What?
Hey, I'm getting tired of paying $5 per gallon, man. I'm getting tired.
So,
Yeah.
so the love affair over?
Hey, man, I like Doc told me, like you taught me, and Rod Love and Greg, y'all taught me, you'll never fully like everything that somebody else
Yeah.
that somebody does.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
You never will.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
definitely understand that.
So
Yeah.
with that being said, Brother Jackson, what did Iran do? I mean, I'm hearing about the Strait. What?
So here's what's interesting, and you know, to Brother Armando's point, and I had this conversation with Brother Burns and one of our friends this past Friday too, in terms of, you know, all of this saber rattling right now that's taking place, and we keep hearing Trump say, "Hey, if Iran doesn't open up the Straits of Hormuz, if they don't stop blocking the Straits of Hormuz, I'm going to do this. I'm going to bomb them." And it's to the point to where it's almost like the boy that cried wolf. At what point in time are you really and truly going to take some type of action? Because the more you say you're going to do something and you don't, the more it emboldens them to do other things.
I
But
got
apparently
some breaking
today,
news.
Iran has initiated a new authority, a port authority, the Straits Authority, that will impose tolls for vessels to come through the Straits of Hormuz. Now, Trump had planned on attacking, and he's been saying this for 3 weeks now, maybe 6 weeks now. Attacking Iran if they did not relinquish, the restrictions on the Straits of Hormuz. But he said even today, after they put together this new authority that's supposed to, come to some consensus about how to move ships through the Straits, he has canceled any plans to attack Iran again for a short period of time. But it's got to come a time where you either got to put up or shut up. You said you're going to do this if they didn't stop. Listen, either way or the other, you got to do something. You can't keep just talking about it. Right?
So go ahead.
Hold on. I want to breaking news. Mark Furman, former LA police detective convicted of lying during O.J. Simpson murder trial, has died. He was
How old is he? 70 what?
74.
Yeah.
74.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of history.
That is
Y'all
a bit of
remember? You remember where the O.J. trial?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so
Heck
that
yeah.
okay.
Heck yeah.
That was theater. That's when we had some good reporting going on. We had good media during that time.
Yeah. Listen, I remember where I was the day that
The
AC
chase?
Collin was driving OJ in the white Bronco. I can tell you where I was right now to this day and what I was doing.
Where was that, Greg?
So I was in Tallahassee, Florida at the bowling alley, watching that white Bronco move slowly
that was the
down
breaking
the
news.
freeway. Yeah,
At the bowling alley.
at the bowling alley. Yep.
And
I was
somebody
at work watching it on
Bronco
TV.
at an auction
For like $1 million, I think.
Yeah.
Was it $1 million or 170,000? I can't remember what it was.
More than it was worth.
Yeah, way more than what it was worth.
John Morgan had it, didn't he? Oh, he still
I
got it.
didn't think it was John Morgan.
Nah, I
Yeah.
don't think so. Hey, but Greg, you going back to something you mentioned, and thanks, Doc, appreciate that. But
Uh-huh.
when you talk about this new Persian Straits,
Mhm.
if you would,
Mhm.
Greg, something I don't understand. I don't understand a lot about that navigation, but people, the news keep referring to maritime rules or policy that prohibits this blocking of the straits,
Yeah.
but would maritime also prohibit what do you call it, blockades and all? But I guess if there's an agreement among countries that you could do that then.
I mean, a blockade is going to be slightly different. When you talk about blockade, you are trying to prevent someone from leaving a port to go somewhere else. So you're blocking someone in. What they're doing in the Straits of Hormuz is they're preventing commerce from moving forward through the straits outside of a certain area that is not restricted. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know why someone hadn't brought this up sooner, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Maritime law controls what happens on the open seas and on waterways. And they have their own courts, their own sets of rules, their own laws. So if you violate maritime law, there are specific sanctions and rules that can be imposed against individuals who do that. So yeah, that is interesting. I don't even know why I didn't think about it here before now. But yeah, so something has to be done. No country should be allowed or is allowed to prohibit the movement of ships the way that Iran is doing it. And I don't understand why other countries aside from the U.S. is not coming in and saying, hey, you can't do this.
Because it's affecting, I mean, this is impacting globally.
Yeah.
China's responded to it, right?
Hey.
By starting to purchase more oil through United States.
Yeah. Which is a new development from this past weekend.
Yeah, they're reacting to it now. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, Morgan does in fact own OJ's.
How much you bought it for? What do you pay for it?
He has it in Pigeon Forge.
Tennessee.
It was in just says 7 figures. It's in Tennessee, and it's
it must have been the million.
And that's where he's from, right?
That's where he's
1.5.
Yeah.
1.5. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
So yeah, he's got it. He's got the Crime Museum.
No.
But getting back to the Straits, one of the things that I think has happened with the posturing that the United States is doing is that we're actually weakening our brand in a lot of ways, because if you look at it, it can be seen as incompetence or fear on our part. They're not making very good strategic moves. They're underreporting. There several warships were damaged, and they're saying that one of them had an infection and another one had a fire. And you can clearly see that, well, if you military, it's missile damage. So, and they're now releasing satellite photos of U.S. installations that show a lot more damage to the bases that the U.S. has in that area.
But but Doc, I mean, you and Greg, that y'all served, but here's my thoughts of being somebody who has not. I wouldn't expect us to give up that amount of intelligence. I mean, and I know it eventually gets out there, but and Doc, you're saying it's being underreported. I would expect that it would be, because that's a level of intelligence that I wouldn't want my enemies to have.
But it doesn't matter if your enemy's got satellite. They see it. Other countries see it. We're the only people in the dark about it truthfully, is the American people, because they're being censored from it. It's not hidden from the rest of the world. And they are already telegraphing their moves. So as far as that go, he's saying one thing, and the Iranians and the rest of the world are showing us something. What does that say about our trust and confidence in our government?
So I don't know if it's necessarily showing incompetence or if it's showing restraint. Because we're still talking about the strongest military on the face of the earth, despite any of the snafus and different things like that. And then the other thing too, though, is I think that we are getting accurate reporting, or we're getting just as much reporting as anybody else. I think that the people who aren't getting accurate reporting are the people in the Middle East and Iran, because they're being told that they are defeating the Americans, and that nothing could be further from the truth. Now, has there been some damage? Yeah, I mean, listen, we are halfway across the world on other people's soil, fighting a battle that we shouldn't have to fight alone. So yeah, they're gonna get their licks in. They're gonna get their licks in.
I could say
But they're
that
not getting
because
their licks in to the extent of where I feel like they are embarrassing the U.S. Now, the embarrassment that I think, and no disrespect, listen, I try to be very tempered in what I say, but the only embarrassment that I personally see is when we hear our president say that if they don't get, if they don't loosen the controls over the Straits of Hormuz, excuse me, we're going to bomb their bridges, we're going to bomb their infrastructure, and we're going to send them back to the dark ages. And 6 weeks later, we're still in the same position and they're still hanging around. That's the part that I don't like. We have to, if you're not going to do it, don't say it. That's my thing. But if you're going to say it, if you don't do something, then that's going to embolden them even more. And even the least bit of inaction is going to give them the ability to say that they're winning in some form or fashion, because they get to say, hey, we're still here. They say they're going to do that, and they still haven't done it. When if we decided as a country to unleash on Iran the things that Donald Trump has said that can be done, plain and simple.
So, Greg, with that being said, we know that we got the midterms coming up.
Oh man.
So,
man, hey Doc, hey, Republicans gonna be hurting this midterm. Y'all gonna be hurting.
But what, I mean, didn't the opposite happen when we were talking about this blue wave? Something?
No, y'all talking about the red wave.
What?
And the
that was
opposite.
the red wave.
It wasn't the blue wave. It ended up being a blue wave. It ended up being a blue wave. It was a red wave that they were touting and saying, and this was during when Trump was out of office during the midterms before he came back, and he was out there endorsing people and this, that, or another, and they just knew that they were getting ready to take all kinds of control. Now they already had certain controls of the House and the Senate and things like that, but they thought it was going to be even to a greater extent.
Well,
no, they didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't gain that control until the general.
But let's go back a little step.
And now they're about to lose.
But let's go back a
How
little
that make
step.
you feel, Brother Love?
No, well, okay.
You think
Watch this move, Mando.
Listen, Greg, you think they're gonna have a blue wave?
That I'm gonna pull that Greg nor Doc can dispute what I'm about to say. You always see a shift when you have an existing sitting president and the midterms come. You see a shift predominantly more in the House than anywhere else. Yeah. So what he's alluding to is historical, not uncommon. He act like, okay, this is going to be something phenomenal. No, I mean, am I wrong?
To an extent, because what happened in '94 when Newt Gingrich?
Oh, but look at him. He got
what happened. What happened in 2002, 2004 with George Bush?
From a historical perspective.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but here's the problem though. The problem is none of those presidents came out there and said, we're going to have a red wave and we're taking over everything.
You're right. I will give you that. You're right.
But I mean, from a historical perspective, is there a change in the balance of power? Yeah, it is not. But there have been some times when that was not necessarily true. Like in '94, the contract with America, when and the other part I'm talking about is during the Gulf War. Not the Gulf. I'm sorry. That's the dad. But during the Desert Shield, and which was what was the Desert Shield or Desert Storm? Was Desert Storm that was first, or was that one the second one?
No, that was the second one.
All right, yeah. So Desert Storm. I mean, the Republican Party came together under prayer. Listen, I will say this: George Bush pivoted perfectly as a president at that time. His whole agenda was not having to fight a war.
Okay.
And he had to turn on a dime on 9/11 when they whispered in his ear while he was out of school with those kids and told them what was going on. And he had to change from a economy-based financial strengthening president to a wartime
president.
You're right.
And I got to give credit where credit's due. There's been no other time, or few times, but no other time in present history where the House, bipartisan across the board, stood and gave the president of these United States a standing ovation for the job.
Yeah, he did. He did a bang up job, and it's sad that people still criticize. Yeah, like you say, you can't be perfect. Yeah. There's nobody that perfectly do a job, but I think that the response it was tempered and effective. He didn't go wild and go shooting up the Middle East at everybody.
Right.
He did the research, found out who it was. He had intelligence, and because of that, we were able to isolate and know who to attack instead of going over there and attacking everybody.
Yeah.
Because they said it was the Saudis, and then they said it was Iraq, and it was Iran, and all of this. You remember that?
Yeah.
All the confusion and stuff.
Yeah.
And he had to deal with the fact that 3,000 and something Americans lost their lives.
Yeah, you're right.
And the tragedy of that,
Yeah.
you know, of helping those families and the nation to go through that period of mourning. Because I remember the day after. I remember September the 12th.
Yep.
Everybody was walking around, it's shell shock.
Yep.
Like, wow. You know, I couldn't stop watching TV. I stayed up all night watching because that blew my mind that somebody had the audacity to attack us on that scale with airplanes
On our own soil.
on our own soil.
But I'm gonna tell you the thing. I'm gonna tell you the thing that got me, believe it or not, Doc, because you talk about the day after. So 9/11 happened on a Monday, right?
Mhm.
I remember on 9/14 sitting outside at a restaurant, and for the first time seeing an airplane fly overhead. Because remember, they had grounded all
You're right.
flights. Planes could
Yep.
not go into the air. And I
Yep.
remember the feeling that I had seeing an airplane take flight and flying overhead and having this feeling of they're not going to defeat us as a country.
Yeah.
That's
Man,
that's
yeah.
unfortunately we had to go through that time to show the resolve of us as Americans. And I don't know, listen, maybe anybody could have risen to that occasion. You know, maybe Joe Biden could have done it. Maybe Obama could have done it. Maybe Clinton could have done it. But for some reason, that time found George Bush as a president, and I think that he did something that brought this country together in a way that no other president had done since FDR.
But you know what? On that note, though, Greg, and I remember, and I'm glad you brought up when you saw President Bush in the classroom reading
Mhm.
book, and you see one of his staff go whisper in his ear.
Yeah.
And do you remember the expression on his face?
There was no expression.
He kept it so.
Yeah, there was no expression.
And,
He
but
went to the
I-
situation
but-
room and came back. Yeah.
But here's the other part when we talk about how America assembled to respond to that.
Yeah.
You saw Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
But you start seeing leadership that you knew these were leaders already,
Mhm.
but you started seeing because they were out in front too, giving updates where they were letting the American people know what was taking place.
Yeah.
And they were letting them know why it's taking place.
Yeah.
But again, you never expect, because we're in wartime, that they were going to give up certain intelligence, but
Right.
the way it was laid out, you could follow.
And that's why, and so, Doc, that's why I say when I'm talking about, our president now, and listen, I don't care what people say, Donald Trump is still the U.S. president, and
You're right,
we have to embrace him as such. We have to pray for him just like we pray for all of our presidents and all of our leaders
You're
and
right.
things like that. But the biggest problem I have with him is that he talks too much. He just talks too much.
Well,
And I thought that he would have learned the lesson from his first term when everybody said virtually, if he just would have kept his mouth shut, he could have easily have won a second term. But he talked
Yeah.
himself out of getting the support of a lot of people. And he's doing the same thing now, where even if he is doing a good job in handling this, and maybe he is showing some restraint, because he talks so much and the things that he says, it plays against him.
I could tell you this. What I think about it is the fact that his biggest problem is he's surrounded himself with incompetent people who are in positions they should not hold. So how do you make a podcaster the assistant director of the FBI?
Dan Bongino, yeah.
He's gone now,
How do you do that?
Bongino's still there, isn't he?
No, he resigned.
Yeah, he's gone.
He resigned. So you got to question the staffing around him. That, I think, more than anything else, like you say, about his first time, he didn't have that level of incompetence around him. Now it's magnified because look at Kash Patel. Okay, look at Pam Bondi. It's not that President Trump is doing a bad job. It's that he chose people around him that do bad jobs, so it puts more eyes on his whole administration. That's what I think it is. You know, if you see one clown in a car, you ain't gonna look. But if you see a car full of clowns, and I'm not calling anybody a clown, I'm just using that as an analogy.
That is an analogy, yeah.
That's just gonna get your attention. So, you know, you gotta look at that. You know, I don't want to refer to my president in any way in a disparaging manner. You understand? Because it's still my country.
You're right.
Right.
I served it. But I do have a right, and every American has a right to speak on the good and the bad. But it needs not be personal. It needs to be on the issues. And right now, for me, it's about starting a war we didn't need at all. Okay, the Straits of Hormuz were already open. Iran was not in charge of it. They did not control it. But now we're in a situation where they say, well, we're going to keep controlling it from here forward. And now what is that? How does that play out long term? Are we going to forever station our Navy there?
Well, I can't ask for that, and it's going to be interesting development. But and Brother Jackson, I want to skip around just a little bit, if you would.
Yeah.
Something that took place that I applaud, that I embrace, is United States senators.
Doc, you heard about this?
What?
Well, go ahead, Greg, lay it out.
So yeah, I mean, so you all know how during the shutdown, and anytime we talk about the shutdown, one of the biggest things that we point to is the fact that, well, hey, these elected officials, if they weren't getting paid, I bet that this thing would end sooner.
Yeah.
Right? Well, how about this past Friday, the U.S. Senate passed a resolution that if there is a government shutdown, that they would not receive pay until the shutdown was concluded. And it was a unanimous decision by the U.S. Senate.
Greg, who was going to vote against that? I mean,
I bet the House won't do it.
Well, hold on.
And you bet right. They sure they are not doing it.
Hey, but again, too, you're talking about the House, and everybody's familiar.
See, listen, let me put this together for you. So, if we were to put this in rap terms, the Senate would be like Jay-Z, and the House would be like Kodak Black.
Okay, understood. Hey, Doc, understood.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing.
That'd be super gremlins. You know about super gremlins?
You're right.
Hey, only we could come up with a rap chord.
Hey, 100 members of the United States Senate, Greg, that you couldn't pay anybody to say I vote against this. In the House, now we're talking about 400, and is my numbers right? Was it 435?
Oh, yeah, I was about to say that.
And I don't see it happening in the House.
It's no matter what the numbers are.
If they got 50 votes in the House, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, listen, it doesn't matter how many people they have serving; they're still getting paid when the American workers who work for the government aren't getting paid.
You're right.
You have members in the military who are overseas trying to provide for their families and not have to worry about their families starving. And these people, they walking around, they're still getting paid. I applaud the U.S. Senate, and I think that the U.S. House of Representatives really need to take a closer look at themselves.
You're right. You know what is I guess really misunderstood by a lot of the American people is that when they saw that the United States Senate voted on that and it passed, they're under the impression that all of the legislators,
right?
Yeah. But it doesn't impact.
It's just the Senate.
Yes, just the Senate.
Yeah, listen, I applaud.
You're talking about 100 people.
Yeah, I applaud them.
Man,
I'm in the House now. 400,
435.
Yeah, 435. Yeah,
and listen, the senators, they have 6-year terms, and the House have 2-year terms. So, I mean,
so let's see if that comes up. But Greg, you hit it right on the head. The House is so far away from this being a reality, but it's good that we've moved a step forward in the United States Senate.
Yeah.
I want to do a reverse here.
We're gonna circle back.
I want to circle back. And before we go down this path, Greg, Chicago Bears, they excuse me, looks like they're going to be leaving Now,
Now, is that written in stone yet? Is that carved?
The
in stone?
Bears.
say again, Doc.
The Bears.
Hey,
Remember that?
what's the governor of Pittsburgh? He announced today that he anticipated that Mayor. What's the brother who's mayor?
I know you're talking about. I remember Lightfoot more than anybody else.
Oh, you stuck on Lightfoot?
I'm still
man?
stuck on Lightfoot.
But I guess the city has gone in a different direction, and one of the main reasons is because you see these stadiums.
Brandon Johnson.
What's his name, Doc?
Brandon Johnson.
Yeah.
Brandon Johnson. But one of the things that you saw in Greg, this started taking place, maybe 20 years ago, where owners started coming to the table to get inducement of taxpayer dollars
Mhm.
to help pay for these stadiums.
Mhm.
And taxpayers had no interest in the property, the stadium. I mean, it was an inducement to bring business to, their property value went up. And, now it's an issue with should public dollars go without having the taxpayers have an interest in these not $1 million stadiums, multi-billion dollar stadiums. So that's an issue in two places that it looks like Chicago Bears are going to be building a new stadium is going to be Arlington, Illinois, or possibly Hammond, Indiana. And I know Doc mentioned earlier Gary, Indiana. That's the Michael Jackson birthplace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But so that's happening now. But
here's the question though. Do the people of Chicago not realize how much revenue is generated by having an NFL team in their
jobs,
time?
property taxes, jobs, small businesses. I'm sure, Greg.
I mean, are they? I mean, are they effectively cutting off their nose to spite their face because they feel like they're giving too many subsidies to a stadium, but a stadium that's creating how much in revenue per year and how many jobs?
But what they're looking at is I'm building somebody else's $1 million palace, and I don't even have a tent.
But they don't have to have a tent if somebody's creating a job for them, though.
No, I'm not embracing that. I'm just telling you how the average person is thinking about it. This is why a lot of municipalities they will hit the wall on infrastructure and things like that because people don't see the value of it and how.
But it is a push and pull.
It does, yeah.
But it is a push and pull taking place right now because you got taxpayers saying to elected officials, if you go down that path without taxpayer dollars, taxpayers see there's a difference between being a stakeholder and a shareholder. And so you got to push and pull on this thing. I mean, the value from a property tax increase that the municipalities get for revenue. Greg, I don't have to tell you about that because and Greg, I wonder, has there ever been a stadium in a CRA boundary?
Yeah. And
Tampa.
Oh, Campbell World Stadium?
No, Tampa too.
Campbell World Stadium is.
Yeah, that's how they got the money to put the trees around the stadium. Remember,
Remember
I making noise about that?
Yeah.
You know what? You were
I've been acting a fool for a long time.
Tampa Stadium too. I don't know.
Yeah, I went down there.
That's
it's in
the
the CRA
stadium that you're talking about that the trees went around.
Yeah, but that area is a CRA district.
Uh-huh.
And who's going to be playing? No, are they playing in at UCF or are they playing in Campbell World Stadium? The Jaguars.
Oh, Campbell World
Campbell World Stadium.
And guess who's already started reaching out for season tickets?
Oh man,
Our artist, listen, I got my guy. He reached out to me last week. I said we got to talk.
So, yeah.
But you know what? I'm gonna push the gas because I want to push the gas because I really want to hear.
No, don't go nowhere. Because you made a good point. So you're asking the question: how many stadiums are in a CRA district or an area that is primed for economic development or redevelopment? The question that I really want to ask is, how many stadiums are in cities that are in poor financial shape?
That's a good question. But the question I guess I have for you is, now that you mentioned that Campbell World is in the CRA, the question that I have is that TIF money that is generating
goes back, supposed to go back into the community.
Yeah. But now you got to look at that CRA plan.
But
listen, y'all don't want me to do that. Y'all don't want me to do that.
I'm gonna give you a prime example. Back when the Magic was on fire, when Penny and Shaq and Nick and all of them was here, There was a building across the street from the arena, and the city of Orlando put up all this money to put in all those black businesses there. And almost to a fault, all of them failed. There used to be Lualoa. Remember Lualoa?
I remember that. I remember that.
There was a restaurant there, an art store, and a clothing store. All of those businesses failed. And I think it's more or less because they didn't have the knowledge to run those businesses. And number two, they were depending on the graciousness and the goodness of the city to keep them running.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do that. You know, they I think it was the first 3 years was rent free or something like that. And they did give them some seed money, but you can't depend on that kind of stuff. You got to know what to do to continue to grow your business.
So you know, it would have been a great idea, though, Doc. I'm gonna tell you, it would have been a great idea, and you're absolutely right, because those business owners weren't prepared for the success that they were set up for. And I think that what would have been an outstanding idea is that if a part of that program, if they would have had some type of business literacy or some type of business academy for those individuals to go through before they gave them that money. They just kind of went with people who spilled out applications, and they had all of the right qualifications, but they didn't. And I think that they needed and Brother Love, if he ain't caught me yet, I was hoping he'd catch me by now, because there was a white paper that was talking about community redevelopment and how do you build sustainable communities. And part of the thing that you do to build a sustainable community is you educate those business owners on how to be successful business owners. And they set these people up for businesses without giving them the tools to be successful. They just gave them the space, they gave them the resources, but they didn't give them the true tools of what it means to be a successful, or how to be a successful business owner when they have all of these things in front of them.
Should they? See, what about being prepared to come to the table?
Should they, Doc?
Yeah, I'm saying why not come to the table prepared? They needed to have a business literacy.
Hold on, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying that they picked the wrong people.
Picked
the wrong people. But then the other side of it is, and I'll say this: you got all these different entities that you got Fortune 500 companies that, if you look at SBA, if you look at government initiatives, they benefited from it. And when you talk about being prepared, they also benefited from some of those tools that was put in place. I know Orange County, when they had the now it's passé, but when they had the minority CMBE initiative years ago, they had accountants and they had individuals so that it'll step you through the process. Now, if you fail, that's on you at the end of the day, because the tools were there.
So I'm gonna tell you, y'all may not know this, but I was an advisor for the SBDC, Small Business Development Center. And when they would assign a business to us, because they would assign business owners to us who were getting funded and different things like that, they assigned them to a committee of no less than 5 to 7 individuals from various specialties and various areas of expertise to talk to them about the various areas of their business and how to be successful.
So
and
that's a tool.
We would sit with them for 6 months before we would release them to go forward with what it is that they were trying to do. For 6 months now. And we would have to meet with them at least once a month. They had our personal numbers where they could call us, ask us questions, and our commitment to them was we would give them our expertise for free. And all they had to do is meet, give us updates on what they were doing, and we would give them advice on things that they should do. They could take it or not take it. But at the end of the day, like one of the ones that I worked on actually became like one of the top 5 businesses in the nation, I think, that year. Because they had a program and a process in place that, although this business was already successful, they set them down with professionals. And that's what I'm saying. If you're going to give somebody something, number one, you need to pick the right business and the right individuals first.
I agree.
Then, even after you do that, you need to make sure that you are giving them the support to be successful. And that's where, what you're talking about, when they gave those businesses all of these things down there, that's why I think they failed. I think that their intentions were right, but they were good, but they picked the wrong individual.
Wrong individuals.
And then they didn't give them that support so that they could be successful.
You're right. Hey,
Right.
let me do this because we're gonna need to break away. Doc, do you have that cutaway of the general with that piece we were gonna be doing the opening?
Yeah. Let me
Yeah,
pull that up.
if you get that prepared, because normally we do it in the opening. We're gonna cut away, and Greg, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you prepared for that,
I can
brother?
do whatever you want. Me to do. I do
Hey,
whatever you want me to.
so Doc, looking for that.
Hold on. Let me make sure now.
Take your time. We got, but here's something that, Greg, I'm gonna put a little fill in here while Doc looks for that.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation this weekend with a brother by the name Ron Creers.
Okay.
He is an executive with a lumber company. And man, we got into a conversation to the extent that Ron said, Rod, you know what? You don't have good employees that leave great companies. You have good employees that leave poor management.
That's true.
And
That's true.
and I've been going down that path of the Maya Angelou saying, with my employees specifically, that man, a lot of times they ain't gonna remember or don't care what I say. They remember how I treat them.
Mm-hmm.
That's philosophical.
Yeah.
Ron put it in, to me, a business logic sense. He's like, brother, I mean, and this applies to not-for-profits. This applies to major corporations.
Mhm.
When people say now corporations aren't loyal to its employees, that may very well be so. But when Ron dropped the nugget that you have a lot of great people out there, and Armando, I was talking to you, and we're not going to mention your employer, but Armando comes back to you and me, Greg, and we appreciate
With the updates.
the updates. But when we hear you inspired by your management telling you how your work product is benefiting the company,
Mm-hmm.
that's great management. And again, we're not going to mention the organization. You already work for a great organization, but it comes back down to people need to be mindful about the management, because if you got poor management, you can have a Fortune 500 company. You're going to run away a lot of your good talent.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, y'all gonna have to ride out here. I got the AC guy wanna holler at me. I got to get my ass. Yeah, see,
Gotcha. Hey Doc, you do you have that piece? Because then Greg gonna do his thing. Were you able to find it?
I can't find where.
We'll do it next week.
We'll do it next week, man. We'll do it next week.
All right, Mondo, you know how to close out.
You got it.
All right, Doc.
So the last little story for tonight, Brother Love, and I don't know if people have heard about this, but the Attorney General for the state of Florida has opened up and initiated an investigation against the NFL. And the AG, General Uthmeier, has initiated this investigation as it relates to the Rooney Rule. And basically what the Rooney Rule is, the Rooney Rule was instituted, I want to say back in 2003, after the firing of two African-American coaches. I believe Tony Dungy was one of them. And the policy was designed to increase opportunities for minority candidates in coaching and executive positions in the NFL. And so what the AG is now saying is that the Rooney Rule, if applied here in the state of Florida, because you can't look outside the state of Florida, but if applied here in the state of Florida, may violate civil rights laws by picking and choosing and putting in place quotas of individuals who can or should be considered for being a coach or in an executive level position in the NFL.
Has the NFL responded to this yet, Greg?
So the NFL has responded in a sense, all right? And let me just make sure I have this right. They have basically said that they're removing references to diverse and minority candidates while keeping the interview requirements in place. So they have acknowledged that they have certain language that may violate the Civil Rights Act here in the state of Florida, but they still want to move forward with with giving individuals opportunities that they may not have had otherwise.
Okay, and Greg, I mean, we all know we have we've mentioned this already. Jacksonville Jaguars, got the Miami Dolphins, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But this went to the NFL, right?
Right.
So
right.
You going straight for the corporation now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you? I mean, with your legal skills, Greg, what do you think the next move is?
I mean, if the NFL has already conceded that they're making changes to websites and different things like that, and changes to wording on how they're going to go through their hiring process, there is some acknowledgement that there is some credence
to
what Uthmeier is saying. But from the standpoint of where they go from here, my personal thoughts is that it doesn't go any further than an investigation. You know, having served as an assistant attorney general for the state of Florida, one of the things I can tell you is that a lot of times the real work happens outside of what you see in news reports. So there are probably going to be some concessions made, almost as they have been here, and things done that the public may never hear about. But it is going to implement some changes as to how the NFL recruits or how they advertise for coaching and executive level.
So change is coming.
Change is coming.
Hey, Greg, I do want to ride out, man, and we do have a good 5 minutes left. I do want to ride out, man, on the governor's race.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what you know, where do we start?
So let's start here, man. Last Friday, we had the opportunity to sit down with the gentleman who is quite possibly going to be the next governor for the state of Florida. The headline of that story, without mentioning any names or anything like that, but the headlines of that story is that Byron Donalds had the opportunity to sit down with 17 or 18 African-American males of different professions, of different political parties, with different different political views, so to speak, to have a real conversation.
And it was an exchange.
And this was not just because what I didn't mention in that meeting was that I just sat in with with Byron Donald on a Zoom meeting where there were 103, 104 other individuals on that call. And he came in, he talked, but there was no real exchange.
And the thing that took place on Friday was an exchange.
An
But here's
exchange,
the other beauty of it too, Greg. I don't want people to think that sit down was with all African American that were Republican.
No, because I was there.
And so my,
I was there,
and so my point, man, is that there was some candid conversation. I mean, and those were things. I mean, you had discussion about small business development. You had discussion about CRA.
Water management. The history of the state of Florida from the standpoint of technology, from AI to transportation. I mean, from healthcare, and there was so much that was talked about from the faith-based community. How do you get a message, or how do you speak to younger voters?
You're right.
This was a conversation that I said, again, if there was any headline to be written on that day, the headline would have been Byron Donald meets with, and I don't want to say prominent because there were some prominent people there, but meets with key African-American males in the Central Florida community to discuss his ideas.
And the one thing that really stood out, man, I mean, not mentioning any names, but the one guy who was sitting a couple of seats away from Congressman Donalds, and he said, you know what? I've paid attention to different highlights. He said, I've seen you on Fox. I've seen you on CNN. And he says, but seeing you here, listening to you respond. He says, man, I got a great deal of respect.
And that was right after he said, right before he said, and I'm a Democrat.
Yes, you're right.
I'm a Democrat. And listen, and that was a takeaway from a lot of people in the room, myself included. Listen, I am a blue dog Democrat. And for people who don't know, I am a common sense Democrat. I am more conservative than most Democrats, but I am still a Democrat. And I listen to all sides of things because for me, as we've always said on this show, it's not about politics, it's about people. And you have to come, as a politician, you have to come and talk to me about people and not just politics. And that is what Byron Donald did.
And this same person that we're talking about, Greg, who happened to be a Democrat, when he said, Rod is a friend. I've known Rod for a long time. He said, Rod is a Republican. I'm a Democrat. We don't agree on everything. But to be able to sit down and listen to somebody who are speaking to issues that you can not only relate to, but that you value. Now, you may not agree with everything, but man, let's work on the things that we can agree on.
That's right.
So that was a successful meeting and
great conversation.
And looking forward to getting Congressman Donalds back in the Central Florida area. We're looking at doing some things in Tampa and St. Petersburg, looking at having them back to Orlando. And, you know, Greg, I'll sit here and say, Congressman Donalds, you really open up a lot of eyes during that meeting. So thank you. And Brother Jackson, I think we're at that point. Brother Armando, you playing the Doc Polite right now. General,
Yes, sir.
you don't have to go home.
But you got to get out of here.
Until next week on Let's Talk Nation, join us. Good. Up there to your right in the red. There you go.